What is that?
A gown.
Why are you wearing a gown?
Because I'm going to court today.
Well, why would you wear a dress?
Good question. It is to cover up your civilian clothing so that there is no competition among clothing in court to impress the judge with who has the fanciest clothing, thereby the best social status.
Why are you wearing clothes under it?
What am I going to go naked in a gown?
No, why are you wearing fancy clothes under it?
This is a Simon suit. It's really not all that fancy. I didn't set out today to do a law vlog, but this is turning into an impromptu law vlog. I just spent the morning at court and I realized something. My number one piece of advice to any law student, young lawyer, stagiaire, someone who thinks they want to be a lawyer, someone who just wants to understand how the judicial system works, spend 2 to 4 days in court a month, just sitting in open court, just watching, observing. It should be a prerequisite. You're going to learn more than you can ever learn in a university course. I'm going to tell you why. I'll be right back in the car. Ugh. And what do I mean that you are going to learn more by spending a few days a month in court than you'll ever learn in law school? I think it should be obligatory in law school that you have one class that consists of going to court 1 day a week for a semester. I think every intern before they start to practice should have to spend 1 day a week for 6 months in court, just observing, just getting familiar with how things actually work in court. These are things that you will invariably learn in the early stages of your practice, but you're better off knowing it before you actually start practicing. These are things that are useful to know if you never even intend on practicing. And what can you learn by sitting in a courtroom for a few days a month?
Everything.
First of all, you learn what court is actually like. And
spoiler alert,
it's nothing like what you've seen in LA Law, or for the younger generation who may be watching this, Suits. It's nothing like that. It's not glitzy. It's not glamorous. It's actually a little depressing. The general ambiance at court is not a festive one. Typically, they have no windows. They have a clock in the corner, and you can hear the clock ticking. There's a judge behind the desk, there's a clerk in front of him or her, and there's the courtroom behind you, which typically consists of other lawyers or witnesses who are there for hearings that day. You get into a courtroom, the judge goes over the cases that are on the roll, on the list of cases to be heard that day. They decide how long they're going to take, who goes first, who goes second, and they call up the parties one by one to present their motions or whatever they're there for that particular day in front of the judge. And what's amazing about it is that you get to see that judges themselves are not these extra large characters from the movies. They are just human beings like the rest of us. Some are nice, some are not nice. Some are polite and patient, others are not so patient. Some have a great sense of humor, others have no sense of humor at all. And just by sitting there and observing, you're going to get to see how judges interact with other lawyers, with witnesses, with their clerks, with the courtroom in general. And if you do plan on practicing, it's a great thing to know what judges are like personality-wise. It allows you to know how to plead in front of them if you ever do get to plead in front of them. And above and beyond seeing how judges interact with lawyers, just observing lawyers is a lesson in itself. It's a lesson in what to do, what not to do, lessons to learn, good lessons to learn, bad lessons to learn. When you see a lawyer sitting in front of a judge like this presenting their position, you can draw some conclusions as to whether or not that's a good way to present yourself in front of a judge. Does it make you look honest? Does it make you look open? Does it make you look confident? Or does it make you look insecure, closed, and defensive? If you see people with their hands on the desk like this, does that make you look cocky, arrogant, and sloppy? Or does it make you look confident and charismatic? I don't think it makes you look confident and charismatic. You can see that some lawyers are clear and concise in the way they lay out the facts of the file. You can see that other lawyers speak in a more convoluted way. You can see that other lawyers are prepared to the dots on the T's and the crosses on the I. And then you can see some lawyers who clearly didn't prepare, read the file that morning, and are winging it. And you can learn what you should emulate and what you should not emulate. You actually will learn a tremendous amount of actual procedure and law. Whenever I go to court, I get there early, I sit in the courtroom and listen to all the cases that come before me because it's sort of like a crash course or summary of law, procedure, and depending on your jurisdiction, court rules. You will learn certain things through osmosis just by virtue of having heard it, and when you come across it later in the practice, it will not be the first time that you have heard about it, and it will not be new to you. The concept of learning through osmosis is, I've always found it amazing. The idea that you will learn something, even if you don't understand what you're hearing right away, you will retain certain concepts. When you hear them again in the future, they will be somewhat more familiar, you will be able to digest them somewhat quicker, and you will invariably learn even if you do not know or appreciate that you are in fact learning. That, and occasionally you see some pretty hilarious stuff at court. You just have to be there at the right time to capture it. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I do law vlogs every now and again. I do cooking videos, fishing videos, GoPro videos. It's a good channel. Tell your friends, tell your family, help me grow. I appreciate it. Peace out.